Hello,
Hi.
we're back for another season of NFL Guess the Stuff and talk about the things and people.
Season three, right? Third is the third
Yeah.
year. Wow. Old
So
pros.
the regular season doesn't start for I think 6 weeks,
Hmm.
but we're gonna preview the divisions
Hmm.
and guess the over/unders on win totals,
Hmm.
and I don't know, try to figure out who got traded and picked up and
Hmm.
drafted and figure it all out.
Totally.
So today we'll start with last year, if you remember, we did two divisions per week. So we'll
Hmm.
do that for 4 weeks, and then it'll basically be time to guess the lines for week one, and then you know how it goes after that. So we're gonna start this year in the NFC with the East and the North
Hmm.
today, and then we'll move on to you know the West and the South and onto the AFC after that. So let's get it going. We're gonna start with the NFC East. So we're gonna give the team name, say what we think the over under on their win total is gonna be, and then see what it actually is, and maybe give predictions or what have you.
General insight, knowledge,
Yeah, or
an authoritative perspective on the NFL.
say a lot of things and realize we don't actually know um, what we're talking about.
Does anybody know? Like, does any pundit at this stage know anything about anything?
Yeah, I don't know. I think so. This is funny. So I have noise suppression on, so I
Yeah.
don't think it's detecting your voice right now. So
Oh, goodness.
I'm gonna try to turn that off. Let's see if
That feels about right, if I'm being honest.
uh, okay. So I had noise suppression on, so it's just detecting my voice. You might not have been able to hear what Josh was saying. He hasn't said a lot to this point, so maybe we'll just keep it rolling. But it looks like we're good to go now.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll jump into the NFC East. So we'll go Cowboys first. I guessed that their over under win total would be 8. What are you thinking?
Um, I'm thinking the Cowboys are gonna go, and this is contrary to what I said yesterday. I think they're going for 7 wins this year.
7?
Yeah, I mean, this feels like a franchise about to die a little bit inside. Feels like a transition in ownership coming soonish. Um, and they hired maybe the least sought after coach in the NFL last year with Brian Schottenheimer. Um, Maybe he'll do great, but I feel like probably not.
Yeah, it was definitely a questionable hire, but
Yeah,
you're saying change in ownership. How?
Jerry Jones is old.
He is old. Um, yeah, I
And
guess
so even if it passes right to his son and his son's then become, that's still a change in
it
the
would be a
singular
change.
vision and leadership of the team.
You wonder if it would just be biting the head off, or actually things would actually change. But
I don't know. I mean, the most relevant example from a Chicago perspective is when Bill Wirtz died, who won the Blackhawks, wouldn't even put him on home games on the TV. And this was 15 years ago. And then his son takes over, who is now also passed, but then they win 3 cups in 5 or 6 years. So anyway, possible to have a turnaround, right, with that kind of transition. But anyway, that's speculation. I think the Cowboys are good for 7 wins, and it's probably going to be a bad year for them.
yeah, I said 8. You said 7. Well, it's
Yeah.
7.5. So we're basically
Yeah.
right on it.
Yeah.
I've said this before, where I feel like the Cowboys get a little more credit than they deserve
Of course,
sometimes.
always
But
America's team.
apparently not here. Apparently, a lot of people don't really think they're going to have a very good year. So
Mm-hmm.
I just pulled up their roster. So just looking at their offense.
Mm-hmm.
So they signed George Pickens, which,
Mm-hmm.
as you know, he's had some, I don't know, we'll call it behavioral issues in Pittsburgh, whether it's warranted or not. He's not really he didn't really get the ball. I mean, obviously he's talented, right? But he didn't seem to get the ball as much as he thought he should.
Did anybody get the ball much in Pittsburgh last year? I mean, it was like offense wasn't their strong suit.
Yeah, the running backs.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess.
And the punter, he got the ball.
Sounds like a defensive first team. If I've ever heard when we start talking about offense, so we mentioned the punter and the running backs.
But do you know who their quarterback is now?
I do, actually. I do happen to know who their quarterback is.
Aaron.
Aaron.
Going to take him to the promised land.
I tell you, it's a really challenge for great coaches who can't evaluate and solve the QB problem. Are they truly great? I don't know. I really like Mike Tomlin, but he's got to get that QB situation figured out.
So, I mean, we're kind of jumping around a little bit, but like the Steelers, they still have that playoffs or no
non-losing season streak. Yes, it's like 18 years, something like that. No losing season.
So that'll be interesting to see if Rodgers can kind of break that, or if they keep
the wrong direction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams, they got from the Broncos, maybe.
Mm.
Miles Sanders is the backup. He's kind of, I don't know if he's washed up or if he's just kind of like getting a little bit older and has been, not as talented as the younger guys that have come in. But it seems like he had a couple super good years, and then all of a sudden he went from great to like backup and like isn't playing that much. So I don't know if he'll play a factor, but Javonte Williams too kind of was really good for a year or two, it seemed like. And then last year he was splitting time. He wasn't even the main running back a lot of times, which is just weird because like he can't be, I don't know, he's got to be like 26, 27. I mean, he's not that old. CeeDee Lamb, Pickens, Tolbert, Ferguson. I mean, they've got good players at the skill positions. Obviously, the defense is the big question mark. Their defense was brutal last year, I think. But now they got rid of Zimmer and brought in, we were just talking about this. Who's the defensive coordinator? Oh, yeah.
That's Eberflus. Yes, Eberflus is the defensive coordinator in Dallas this year, and ownership has decided to pick a fight with their best defensive player over the internet, which is always a good sign.
Yeah,
right.
Jerry and Micah clashing, or Michael. He called him Michael, right? Michael Parsons. I mean, they're just names, right?
It doesn't matter. Right? Sure.
Yeah. Michael's a common name, or at least it was in 1892 when Jerry was born.
Well,
right?
I'll tell you what, if that Larry Jones doesn't get his act together, the Cowboys are really going to suck this year.
Larry, Lerry. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the Cowboys. I don't know. Very fair, I guess. 7.5.
Middling, yeah. I mean, could you see, is there a scenario in your mind where you look at the Cowboys as they're currently comprised and everything that's going on and go, yeah, they could win 10 games? Because I just don't see it.
Well,
at 10 games, I could see 8, maybe 7, 8. But
here's the story for that, I guess.
I don't see 10 games.
Eberflus has been a really good coordinator, right? And that's all he has to be now.
Yeah.
So if he can make the defense above average, I mean, like I said, their offense is good. So if Dak can have a good year, like, sure, but I don't really see it happening.
I don't either. Like, I just maybe that defensive unit gets good, but I don't know.
All right, let's move on. We don't want to talk about them anymore than we have to anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's do it.
Okay, we got the defending champion Eagles.
Yeah.
And I said 13 wins.
Is a million games too many?
18, you're going 18?
No. Perfect season, win the Super Bowl. So they won 14 games last year, right? They went 14-3.
I don't know.
I believe that's correct. They were tied with the Vikings.
Yeah, 14-3.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to go under. I'm going to go 12, just because I don't think they're going to get back to 14. 13 seems a stretch.
Yeah, 13's a lot, no matter how good you are, which I realized after I guessed that. But so 11.5. What did you say, 12?
I said 12.
Okay, so
should have just bid $1 anyway.
11 and a half. So the Eagles have most of their guys back, I think, and obviously they won the Super Bowl. They won 14 games. They didn't. I mean, they had the game with the Rams where it kind of went down to the wire in the playoffs, but they pretty much dominated
control. Yeah.
Everyone else.
Yeah.
So now you got most of your guys back. Obviously, they have a target on their head. The tush push is still allowed, so they could still run that play as much as they want.
They kept their coordinators, right? Kept their coordinators?
Um,
no, that's a lie. Their coordinator
was Kellen Moore the offensive coordinator? He went to
yes, he did.
Saints.
He's the head coach of the Saints. Yes,
yeah.
You're right. Yes. So they're another year with transitioning coordinator. I don't know about their defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But yeah, Kellen Moore is the head coach.
Yeah, so Hurts, Barkley, AJ Brown, Smith, Dotson. I think he was their number 3 last year. Goddard. Their offense and defensive lines are mostly the same. So obviously there's the team to beat by kind of any way you look at it. So I said 13. He said 12. It's 11 and a half. You're not thinking about this now. You're not really going to get an over/under win total like much higher than 11 and a half anyway, just because I don't know. It's a week-to-week league, right? Like anyone can struggle, anyone can have bad injuries, and like it's just really hard to say a team's going to win 12 or more games, even if they are one of the best teams. So I think it makes sense.
Last year felt like a bit of an aberration too, just with the overall record. At least within the NFC, you had the Lions at 15-2, and then the Eagles and the Vikings both at 14-3. That just seemed like a really top-heavy year record-wise. They usually have one team from each conference, sort of with those astronomical records. But there were at the top there were a lot, and so I think that has to come down this year. Feels like that was an aberration last year, just in terms of how many teams had really good records through most of the regular season.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know if overall. I mean, you got to think that most people just looking at that are like, yeah, the Eagles are really good. How are they not going to at least go 12-5? But that's. I mean, you're winning 70% of your games. I mean, that's a lot more than you think. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion.
All it's going to take is for them to go 2-3 out of the gate, and then everybody's going to be calling for Sirianni's head. Doesn't matter what happens the rest of the season,
Yeah,
and another Super Bowl.
I mean, they've shown the last 2 years that they can be not very good the first few games and then win basically every game. That was last year. Like after the first, we were talking about this recently, but they were like 2-3 or 3-3.
Yeah,
they just basically won every game after that.
Really good, really quiet, great season.
And then 2 years ago, they won. They came out of the gates
10 and hot. They were 10-1, I think. They won 10 straight games,
and they were winning like one-score games or winning a lot of games by field goals or less. And then the wheels fell off, right? Like they lost to the Bucks in the playoffs,
destroyed,
and they were like. It seemed like Sirianni and Hurts had this riff or whatever. But, so we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like I said, most people probably think that 12's a no-brainer, but maybe for that reason, maybe it's not. Maybe the under is the right side. I mean, just like the Eagles are going to get everyone's best game because of how they played last year. So there's always that. All right, let's move on. We got another pretty good team made the playoffs, the Washington Commanders. I said 11 wins over under.
I'm going to go 10. I keep undercutting you by 1. This feels like a bit of a backslide, but I mean, if Jaden Daniels continues to ascend, they could win the division. So,
all right, I said 11. Josh says 10, and it is only 9.5. So we're not exactly doing like who won the week or anything like that. I guess we could do that. So this first one's a tie on the Cowboys, and then Josh got the next 2. So I said 11. Josh says 10, and it's 9.5. Mm-hmm. So Commanders, obviously we didn't know what to expect to start the year, but we found out pretty quickly that Jaden Daniels was really good. Mm-hmm. He ran a lot, got hit a lot,
was injured,
and didn't have like a major injury, which is kind of crazy given how much he ran.
No, but there was a lot because they had a bit of a dip towards the latter half of the season, and there was a lot of speculation, talk that he had injured his ribs, and that it seemed to inhibit him somewhat. But when it came time to the playoffs, man, that kid looked great.
Yeah. So I don't know, like 9.5. So I mean, you're gonna need 10 to make the playoffs. So they're saying like it's a coin flip whether the Commanders are gonna be a playoff team. I don't know what that means. You'd think if Daniels is healthy, he could win 10 games, but maybe that's a big part of it, right? Like if you can't run as much as he did every year and not have a injury that takes you out.
He's
so
slight of frame too.
Are they gonna? But at the same time, like him doing that gives them a huge advantage, and like they need him to do that. So I don't know. That's going to be a kind of a delicate mix of how you manage that. If you're, what's their head coach's name again?
Dan Campbell. No, he looks like Dan Campbell. Dan, the guy who was no. He was the head coach in Atlanta when they went to the Super Bowl and barfed it up.
I know. I can picture him. I don't know why I can.
Because he looks like Dan Campbell, except he's like a balder version of Dan Campbell.
So the old white guy who wears backwards hats and is a man of the people. And,
yes. One of a few.
All right. I can't just leave this view.
Yeah. It's Dan, right?
Yeah.
Lions head coach. Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn.
Now pull up a picture of Dan Campbell, and then we'll superimpose. They look the same. Yeah, I mean, if he were just balder,
kind of.
I guess if you think old white dudes look the same.
Dan Quinn's got to be 10 years older than Dan Campbell, maybe, but maybe not. We're not going to go down this road of, okay, now how old are they now? Anyway, what's their dog's name? Yeah.
They have dogs.
Dan Quinn. Jaden Daniels.
Yes. And
lots of Dans in there.
Who didn't go anywhere.
Their OC. Who was their OC?
He was the head coach at Arizona.
Oh, yeah. Kingsbury.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury. He stayed because there was some speculation that he might leave because of this dramatic. I don't even know. You can't say transformation because you don't have anything to compare it to, right? It's this evolution, I guess, of Jaden Daniels last year. But he stayed, so there's some stability there. It's a little. Obviously, Vegas thinks they're coming back to earth,
right?
Next year, this season. I mean, that seems to make sense. I think the most recent comparison would be what happened in Houston, the Texans, right? Because we had a bit of a down year last year, and the rookie quarterback came out his rookie year and had a great season. But yet they came back. The Texans won a playoff game last year, and a game that they thought many people thought they would lose.
Right.
I don't know. Nothing about Jaden Daniels makes me think that he's going to backslide.
Yeah. So. Interesting one to watch. Yeah. Can they get to 10 wins? Jaden Daniels, Brian Robinson, and Eckler are the running backs. McLaurin, they got Debo from the 49ers. Now, Debo lost a step last year. He just wasn't as explosive as he had been in the past. So I don't know if that was a conditioning problem. He wasn't working hard, or if he's just getting older and banged up or what. But obviously, we'll figure that out this year if he can sort of have a comeback year and be the explosive guy that he once was. Zach Ertz, wow, he's got to be old.
I feel like he was playing when I was in college.
Yeah.
It's like 20 years ago.
Zach Ertz.
5 years ago.
Zach the Vampire Ertz. All right, so there you have it. Do you think the Commanders, you think that's easy because it's only 9.5, or is there something to it?
I mean, think about it. Like, they've got to play the Giants twice and the Cowboys twice. Is it that hard of a stretch to say they can walk away like 4-0 out of those games? That's true. They're almost halfway to that, and they're going to play some other shitty teams.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like them getting to 7 wins is an easy no-brainer. Can they get 3 more wins because Daniels is great? Probably. I don't know.
It just seems I don't know. It seems too good to be true, but I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. Let's go on to the juggernaut that is the New York Football Giants. So now I went 5.5 wins for the Giants.
I went 3.
Going 3?
3. I think they're probably going to be the worst team
Just
in the
like
NFL.
14 is a lot on the other side.
I know.
3 is,
It is.
few.
But I think, how many teams? I feel like there were a handful of teams that were only won 3 games last year.
Yeah, who were the worst teams? The Panthers
Giants
got feisty at the end.
They did. It was the Giants. That wasn't Vegas. Giants were bad.
The Jaguars.
Jaguars were bad.
Were not very good.
They were bad. Wasn't the Saints or
Browns were bad, but maybe not that bad.
They weren't that bad. I feel like there were 3 or 4 teams that were pretty terrible last year.
Well, let's look at these other teams here. The Saints. The Saints were 3-0, and then they just.
Yes, they fell off the cliff. Yeah.
The Jets were pretty bad. The Patriots.
That's it. The Jets.
The Raiders.
And
the Titans were the worst team. They had the one pick.
That's right. So Browns, Giants, and Titans all won 3 games only won 3 games last year, and then Jaguars, Raiders, and Patriots all won 4. So that's 6 teams. That's better than 20% of the league had 4 wins or less. So yeah, I don't feel too bad about it. Like the fact that maybe I'm saying the Giants have no movement from last year to this year in terms of win total maybe has something to do with who their starting quarterback is.
Yeah. So I said 5.5. You said 3. It is 5.5, which is still pretty low. I mean,
yeah.
If that goes under the 5-12, I mean, well, for one thing, obviously Dable got to be gone if they're that bad.
Most people think he's gone already.
Well, he should have been already. Like, what are they doing?
Probably going 3-14 again.
So I was taking a look at their depth chart, and they are more talented than I remember. Maybe obviously the big question mark. Russell Wilson's going to be their starting quarterback. So I don't know. Last year was such a weird year. Like the Steelers were like pretty good when he was in there for a while, but then just you watched them play, and you're just like, I can't tell if they're scheming things really bad and it's just not working out, or if Wilson just like doesn't know what he's doing. It was so
strange,
odd to watch them try to like
and then he
play football.
Fields sitting on the bench. Wilson, they pulled Fields for Wilson, and then they started to win, but then they lost the last 5 or 6 games of the season, including a playoff game. They limped into the playoffs. They got bounced immediately, but then they lost the last 4 regular season games, something like that. It just was not a good situation at quarterback, and it's weird that the Giants then looked at the entire landscape of the NFL and went, this guy, and just like we're gonna win with this guy, and then to back him up, they went and got Jameis Winston because they like interceptions, I guess.
So they got Jameis Winston is listed second, and then Dart. They drafted Dart.
They went out. They went in and got him. They went up in the draft and got Dart. He was the guy.
So I don't know whether you think Wilson has anything left or not, whatever. But I mean, the model at least makes sense. It's like you get a journeyman quarterback who's maybe serviceable, or maybe at his best is actually could get you to the playoffs, and then you draft a quarterback. Hopefully he progresses, and maybe next year or the following year, then he's your quarterback of the future. So I guess it makes sense.
The models. This is a Bearsian model if I've ever seen one. Draft a rookie quarterback with an incumbent head coach and general manager who's probably out the door, and then expect the coaching staff to try and prove themselves with a rookie quarterback and everything else. It's just stupid. I mean, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Like I just it's a weird.
I remember last year I remember saying like I thought the Giants might be better than like everyone thought they were going to just be terrible.
Yeah.
And I was like, they might be a little better than people think. Well, I wasn't right. They were bad. And now I'm starting to like have the same feelings this year, like looking at their roster, like why can't they be half decent? But I don't think I'm going to go there as far as any sort of prediction this year. So Russell Wilson. So Tyrone Tracy had a really good year last year. So he's technically their starter, but they also have Singletary, and they drafted Scattaboo too. So, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff you can do with. I mean, Scadaboo is supposed to be good. Tracy and Singletary have both shown that they can be very good running backs. I mean, you got a lot of options there and a lot of depth. And then same with the receivers. Like Neighbors had a really good year last year with Daniel Jones throwing to him. Or no, was Jones already gone last year? I don't even
They left.
remember.
They let him go in the middle of the
Oh yeah,
season,
that's right.
and he got picked up by Minnesota, and he was on the Minnesota bench for the last like 5 or 6 games of the regular season.
So Neighbors is obviously like I don't think anyone's going to say Neighbors isn't a really good receiver. Like he's obviously good. Wandale Robinson is a slot that can be really good. Like obviously the play of the quarterback. Like if he has a really good quarterback, I think he can be really good. He's shifty, and then Slayton is like there's worse third receivers than Darius Slayton, and then they also have Hyatt and Pascal and Lil Jordan, Humphrey. Like those guys have all played significant snaps on other teams in the past. So I mean, like they have some decent skill players, but yeah, they're gonna go as Russell Wilson goes. I would say, like if he's good, they might be decent. But also, I guess obviously coaching is a big thing too. Like has Dable did they? Oh yeah, Dable. I should remember this better, but Dable they made the playoffs 2 years ago and obviously beat the Vikings because the Vikings are my
This is
team.
his first year, right?
Yeah, that was I believe that was his first year. So obviously he's had success before, but
I just feel
uh,
the NFL though is littered with NFL head coaches who come in and their first season they like win a playoff game or they get to the playoffs and they have like a great record and then it just like disaster afterwards. And the Bears have a litany of coaches like that where they bring in, like Dick Duran, his first season they went like 13-3 and then got waxed in the playoffs by the Eagles and then it was a disaster after that. It's just I don't know. I don't know why they won that one playoff game or how they got there, but it was a mirage. It was fool's gold, and I don't think it's indicative of Dable's talent or his ability to lead a football team. Unfortunately,
yeah, so 5.5 you get for the Giants. I mean, I think it goes over just because that's so low. I mean,
is it hard to be that bad like 2 years running?
yeah, I mean, I think so. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember how bad their defense was last year. I think it was maybe average. I think most of their struggles were on offense, but maybe I
I
just
mean,
not remembering. But
I
can
mean,
they get 6 wins? I mean, they do have to play the Commanders and Eagles twice each.
I don't know if they have one win by mid-October. Is Dave Ali still a coach? Probably not.
No, I mean, I would hope not.
Like if they're one
Um,
and six or whatever, 1-5.
you
Like
and I
after
will
one
be the
14.
co-coaches.
Dude, honestly, like I don't know. We could phone in some plays. I thought we do okay.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree. All right, that's it
that's the
for the
East.
East.
Who do you think's winning the division?
Uh, I don't know. I mean, how can you pick against the Eagles?
Yeah,
Like injuries is the only thing that hurts the Eagles. I don't see how, like in 2 months are we sitting here or whatever 2 month 6 games into the season, let's just say, are we sitting here saying like, wow, the Eagles aren't very good and like we just don't know why, like
I mean,
they're gonna win games unless they have injuries, right?
uh,
That's always the big question mark with any team. But
you've had that dialogue the last two Eagle seasons. Like, are they good? Is the coaching staff good? Right? I mean, you had it after they went 10-1, and then lost like every game after that, and then you had it at the beginning of last season when they went 2-3, and everybody was like, "Oh, when is Nick Sirianni going to get fired?" I think they're the best coaching staff in this division. Clearly, I feel like you're right. It's like a no-brainer to say the Eagles. I think maybe the Commanders, maybe there's some competition there because I do like the Commanders because of Jaden Daniels, but yeah, Eagles makes the most sense.
yeah, and like obviously I root for like if the Vikings don't go far, like the Commanders are a team that I can get behind.
Yeah,
Like they don't seem like Jaden Daniels isn't like cocky. Like
it's so fun to
they
watch.
do things kind of the right way. They're fun to watch. Like I don't have anything against the Commanders, so
Mm-mm.
like I wouldn't mind that. But yeah, I mean, you got to say the Eagles until someone proves that they're not the best team in the division.
Or the
And
league.
yeah,
Yeah.
for show.
For
Okay,
sure.
that's one division. We
Mm.
got one division left, and it is the one that our favorite teams play in.
Mm.
And
Favorite's a little strong. Okay.
the teams that we
Indoctrinated is
grew up
better.
liking and have to still like, we'll say that.
Given proximity. Okay.
Okay, so the Vikings are the team that I like, and I said that I think Vegas thinks that they will have 7.5 wins this year.
I went 9.
Niner.
Niner.
I think you're closer. Vikings
I just have any more faith.
over under wins is
Wah, wah, wah.
8.5. You are closer again. So Josh has been closer on 3. We tied 1, and I was closer on 1. So 8.5. So you said 9. I said 7.5.
5.5 point drop
I mean,
from last year.
okay. So we were talking about this just the other day, but
Yes.
the Vikings or McCarthy has looked good in all of his workouts, whatever preseason, to the point where like all these hype sites and like this is just what they do, right? Like they try to be overly positive, but it's like if McCarthy can be half as good as what he's showing, then the Vikings are one of the best teams in the NFC. And I'm just like, huh? Like, do you realize that there's been a lot of like highly touted quarterbacks, and not that he's even like the most highly touted of even of his draft class that have once they've actually played a real game, like they just can't figure it out. Like the game's too fast for them. They're just not very good. Like let's pump the brakes here and just let's see how he actually does in a real game before we're saying, oh, the Vikings are going to make the playoffs or the Vikings are going to make a playoff run because McCarthy threw a 60-yard touchdown pass to Addison in practice. Like, chill out. I think, I don't know, I guess 8.5 is fair enough. They do have like all the pieces around him are there. They've got Jefferson and Addison, and Naylor is their number 3 receiver who had a good year. Um, uh, Aaron Jones, and then they brought in Jordan Mason from the 49ers as a backup running back. Hawkinson's one of the better tight ends when he stays healthy, and then the defense was very good last year and should be again. So really, it is whether McCarthy can be good enough or not. Like that's really what it all hinges on. Weird. It hinges on the quarterback. I guess we're kind of saying that with every team.
Strange. But... It's like, quarterbacks matter.
Yeah.
I mean, I think just to add to the only thing is that you have a coaching staff in Minnesota who seems to understand how to utilize pieces to get a thing done, like to win a football game, to put them to have the strategic understanding in place, to put those players in the best position to win, which is just an infrastructure I think most teams in the NFL lack. So that's what I think gives me faith that they'll have a decent season. But to your point, if McCarthy sucks, that doesn't matter. And I think their backup is Daniel Jones.
No, he's not on the roster.
He didn't make it from last season, is it?
Okay. Sam Howell.
Oh yeah, from Washington.
Right. So
he was there. Was he there last year though?
I don't know. They might have. I can't remember if they just signed him in the off season or if he came on late and was another just like emergency type guy late in the season. I don't remember. I want to say it was the off season when they picked him up, but I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you're right with the coaching staff. Like a lot of people would say O'Connell's one of the better coaches in the league. I would say.
I mean, you think his track record to this point supports it,
right? So yeah, I mean, coaching well in close games. Like, was it 2 years ago they won all those close games? And it seems like they do the right things and think about kind of all of the aspects, like every situation, and are prepared. It seems like that, but I don't know. Like, can McCarthy be serviceable and clutch is the big question, and we'll just we gotta wait to see.
Can you not turn the ball over? You know, can you not turn the ball over, and can you move the ball when it needs to be moved? Right. Those are the things. Can you do that? I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So that's the Vikings.
Right.
8.5, basically a 500 season. I guess that's fair, more or less.
Given the question of quarterback.
Yeah. Last year, I mean, the NFC North was the best division in football for much of the season, maybe the whole season. So the Bears, Lions, and Packers aren't like getting any worse, probably. I mean, we'll talk about them obviously very shortly. So we'll see. So let's go to your team.
Yay!
The Chicago Bears. The Bears. So I said 8 wins for them.
5.
5?
Yeah.
Like, you think they're going to win 5?
Yeah.
Or you think Vegas is going to say that the over-under is 5?
I think they're going to win 5. I think Vegas, I don't care what Vegas's over-under is. I just, it's 5.
All right, we're going 5.
We're going 5.
So, 5. Bears over-under wins. It is.
Show me 5.
18.
I wonder what it was last year. It was probably 8.5 last year too. And look what they did.
So it's 8.5, just like the Vikings. Yep. So I'm closer on that one.
No way.
So the Bears, Caleb Williams had a pretty good year stats wise. I kind of felt that his stats were better than he showed, but you could talk to a lot of people who felt he had a pretty good year, all things considered, playing under a bad coach, and maybe with not, I don't know, like I guess they had talent, but their offensive line was the question mark. So bad offensive line, bad coach, like I mean,
bad offensive coordinator.
You absolutely can rightfully blame a lot of it on them. So they made improvements in that area. They hired Ben Johnson, who's supposed to be the best next head coach.
He was the consensus like top candidate, I think. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the Bears hired the right person this time. They didn't Eberflus it. When they hired Eberflus, it was like, wait, who did they hire? Is that an actual NFL coach?
Right. I mean, there's no one that's saying they're like, I don't know, that Ben Johnson, like he's doing these things that you just don't. Yeah,
right.
I mean, he's doing all the right things so far. So DeAndre Swift, Roshan Johnson, so that's the same as last year. DJ Moore, Odunze. So Luther Burden, they just drafted out of, I think, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Komet's still there.
Loveland is the...
Yep, they drafted Loveland from, Michigan?
Yeah.
And then they brought in...
No. Wait. Was he the Michigan guy? Anyway, they drafted whether he was...
He was Michigan. Yeah, he went to Michigan.
Because there was the other tight end that they were looking at, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They drafted... So the number one tight end on like most people's boards was the Penn State guy, I think, and they went and took the Michigan guy. But Ben Johnson has a history with this guy, so it kind of makes sense.
People didn't hate this pick either, right? Even though there was the other tight end, it was not like pundits were like, "Oh no." I guess they were close, but this was their first pick in this year's draft, whatever.
Yeah, he went like 10th or 10th or something like that. Yeah. Okay, Joe Tooney from the Chiefs, so upgrade on offensive line.
That was their big, free agent signing.
Drew Dahlman, you hear people around here talk about Drew Dahlman. They're like, we finally have like a guy. We don't have a competition between two guys who don't really know what they're doing. We have a guy, so that's their center, Drew Dahlman from, I think, the Falcons. And then I don't know, a couple of these other linemen. I don't know.
Darnell Wright's been there a while.
That well, but clearly got better there. So got better. Got better at the head coach. Got better with offensive line. So there's no, there's. I don't want to say. I mean, there's very few question marks with those two pieces. Obviously upgraded. Montez Sweat's back. They picked up Grady Jarrett. Right, he wasn't on their team last year, was he?
I don't believe so.
So. Yeah, all the pieces are there. Yeah. Again, as it's a broken record, but if Caleb Williams can take that next step and be what he's supposed to be, which everyone, like, he was the best
Everybody said.
quarterback draft prospect of the last whatever 5 drafts or something like that. So now, like, right, now's the time. Like,
Yes.
if you're going to be good and actually take that next step, it has to be this year, really.
Especially when you have quarterbacks in that class drafted after him that had success to the degree that they made the playoffs, and some of them even won a playoff game.
Yeah.
2 playoff games, in fact. So this is, I don't know, this is just typically the Bears.
Yeah.
Every 4 years, they just start over because they fucked it up so poorly the last time. And I don't know. I just don't see it because I've never seen it, not really. And they're going to have to prove it on the field.
Yeah. So you mentioned the other quarterbacks in that class. So Jaden Daniels obviously had a better season than Williams.
Yep.
Drake.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We'll just go through them. But so Drake May wasn't the starter to start the year, but he got to play more than half the games, I think.
Yeah.
And you could see he was certainly improving. He was making like some good decisions, some good throws. So the progression, like you're seeing it with him. Bo Nix, obviously, did they make the playoffs?
They did. They lost to the Bills in the wild card round.
That's right. So Bo Nix obviously had a more successful season. I don't know if his stats were better, but
they were close.
Yeah, like
it wasn't like this big gap in terms of the stats, but
yeah, if you ask 10 people who had a better season just like themselves, Caleb or Bo, it's probably 5 to 5 or 6 and 4. But Bo Nix was the 12th pick,
yes,
and Caleb was the first pick, right? So yeah, absolutely has something to prove. Like at the end of this year, are we going to be saying that he was the worst first-round pick of that draft, or is he going to show like what he's,
I don't know,
what he's destined to be? I don't know. 8.5. So Vegas is saying, prove it. We'll set it right in the middle. I think that's fair. Again, the division is going to be probably pretty competitive again, just like it was last year. Maybe if they're in a different division, that number is higher, but I think it makes sense.
No, I think they're going to finish last. I don't think there's any way that they're competitive this year. I just don't. I mean,
think you could make an argument that any one of these 4 teams finishes last. Maybe we'll kind of get to that after we do the next 2 here. So, all right. Let's go to the Lions.
Oh boy.
The Lions who lost their coordinators, 2 good coordinators. I said 11.5 wins for the Lions this year.
9.5.
Ooh, what do you guess? It's in between there.
Probably 10.5. There they
10.5. Of course, right in between our guesses. Okay, so as we said before, I mean, you start getting to 10.5, 11.5, that's a lot.
Yep.
So 10.5 seems pretty fair. The Lions have a lot of pieces back. They had one of the best offensive lines. They've got probably one of the best coaches, at least relatable to the players, like a player's coach type of guy. Goff is still there. They got a lot of stability outside of losing their coordinators. I don't even know who they brought in, but you got to think that
they promoted from within, I think.
Yeah.
I think so.
It kind of makes sense. But you got to think, obviously, they're not going to be as good on that side of things. So
15-2, man. That's crazy.
Like, if they can have a really good year this year, obviously, then you start saying, okay, Campbell can basically like do it with whatever he's got, at least from a coaching perspective. So 10.5. I said this last year. I thought the Lions would have a little bit of a regression year. They absolutely didn't. They were kind of one of the hunted teams, and they still played really well.
They played great. Their defense died last year. Like, they had so many injuries on defense. They were just I don't know how many starters they made it with to the end of the season and into the playoffs, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, one of the things that came up last year was like, are they playing too hard? Like their defense absolutely was flying around and hitting hard, and like it showed. They had a lot of injuries, so
it's the Tom Thibodeau defense.
Yeah, like is it worth it really in the end when you get
You don't
to
have enough. Yeah.
you play the Commanders and they hang like I don't know close to 40 on you or whatever it is. I don't know. We'll see if they can stay a little bit healthier. But yeah, I mean, teams were not struggling scoring on the Lions last year. The Lions offense just usually had enough um,
Plays,
to win.
playmakers. I mean, this is the year where we see if Dan Campbell is more than just a player's coach, because Lovie Smith was a player's coach, and he didn't. He had one Super Bowl appearance. He's the best coach the Bears have had in like 40, 50 years, but he had one Super Bowl appearance, and then he was sort of middling the rest of his thing. Players coach isn't enough. We'll find out if Campbell is a organization builder, somebody who's like a Tomlin or Belichick or Reed, who comes in and drives organizational success across a longer span of time and not just 1 or 2 years and then everything falls apart again. I think this is the year for Campbell to prove what kind of coach he really is.
Yeah, I agree with that. So again, I don't know, 10.5 seems very fair. Like, I don't know how, if the Lions don't get close to that, it's probably again because of injuries. Like their offense, if their offensive line stays healthy with Goff and their playmakers, I mean, they're just really good. Like you're not gonna play the Lions and blow them out very often because they're just gonna be able to hang with you. Um,
I think that's like, regardless of what their record is, I feel like this is a team that's going to be in every game. Like regardless of the injuries or whatever that they're going to be in these games, probably not going to see a lot of blowouts against this team.
yeah,
Whether or not that translates to a good record, I don't know, but they're going to be competitive.
yeah, I agree. So not a lot of predictions so far. Maybe at the end of this, we'll go back through and give a couple that we think we like.
Yeah.
But let's get the last team crossed off.
Packers.
The Green Bay Packers.
Yeah. So CBS Sports had an article yesterday or today about like the ranking each NFL teams in their sort of historic quarterback class. And the Packers were number one with Favre, Rodgers, and Bart Starr.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. They seem to always have a really good quarterback. I said Packers 10.5 wins.
12.
12 Packers over under the wins. We're going 9.5. So, I mean, this tells me that the whole theory that they're just going to beat up, the North is going to beat up on each other is obviously relevant. 8.5, 8.5, 10.5, 9.5, kind of everyone's decent right and no one's really spectacular. I guess it makes sense. The Packers, they have a lot back.
I think they have the most continuity of any of these four teams.
Right.
Coaching especially staff, players.
Yeah, at the skill positions. Yep. Again, it's harder for me to remember who's offensive and defensive line. Like all the players, like I don't know. Some people know every starter on every team, but I find it hard to remember all of the interior linemen and whatnot. But yeah, I mean Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, Jaden Reed. They drafted Matthew Golden. I'm not really sure that they needed more receivers, but I guess Christian Watson is coming off, I think, an ACL. So he's out to start the year.
Out.
So Reed, Golden, Dobbs, Dontavian Wicks, and Watson have contributed very well the last couple years. Malik Heath, McCole Hardman. I mean, they're deep at receiver. Tucker Kraft had a pretty good year last year. I mean, there's no reason to think again that the Packers shouldn't be good either. So 9.5 seems maybe, I don't know, maybe low, but maybe just slightly low. But again, you got to play the Lions, Bears, and Vikings two times each. I mean, I think they're just going to beat up on each other. So I said earlier, you could make a case for every team, falling and being the worst team in the North. So I guess just real quickly, like the Vikings, obviously, if McCarthy isn't that good, they could easily, like, if your quarterback's not real good, you can easily fall down. Same thing with the Bears. If Williams doesn't take that next kind of step in the progression, like they could easily have a bad season. The Lions losing your coordinators, like losing that continuity, plus
Mhm.
kind of having a bullseye on your head because you were one of the best teams a couple years in a row. I could see them possibly regressing,
Yep.
and then the Packers. I don't know. Like we kind of said, like they kind of have the most stability.
Plus a good coach, like a good coach. And I think at this point you can say Love is a proven quarterback.
Yeah,
Is he like a top five quarterback? Probably not. We have I think an amazing class of quarterbacks right now in the NFL, right at the top of the list. So I don't think Love is there quite yet, but he's good. He's
yeah.
good. He was good last year. He wins them games. He's the type of dynamic quarterback you want in the NFL. He can move. He can throw. He seems to have a sense of presence on the field. That's why, regardless of what the over and under is, I think they're probably going to win 11, 12 games, and I think they're going to win this division.
I think we maybe talked ourselves into the Packers winning this division, but
Yeah,
so
because of stability.
they did not make the playoffs
No,
last
they
year,
did.
right?
No,
They
they did.
did.
They lost. I was just looking. They lost in the opening round to the Eagles,
Oh yeah,
and it
that's
was
right.
wasn't. I mean, it wasn't a blowout. I think it was what was it 23-10. Um,
Yeah.
so I think that's right. But,
All right. Yeah. So I mean, I guess the case for the Packers not being good, maybe Love his season 2 years ago, I want to say was better than last year, but maybe I'm not. I'm just
he
not
was
remembering.
injured though last year, wasn't he? For 3 or 4 games.
Oh yeah, he did go out. I don't remember what the injury was,
I
but
don't either, but for the middle of the season, he was. Yes, he was. He was out for at least 3 games because there was. Oh, they made all that stink about the backup who was in Tennessee, and he wasn't very good. And then they come out and they win a game with them, and
yeah.
I think it was against the Bears.
Yeah, so that's another vote for their stability. Like
Yeah.
Love was out, and I think they won 2 out of the 3 games where
Yes.
he was out or
Yes,
whatever,
with
and it
their
was
backup
Malik Willis
Yes.
who was
Run out of
awful.
ten. Yes.
Yeah,
Run out of
before
Tennessee.
that. So
Yes.
yeah, there you have it. We're picking the Packers to win
Packers.
the North, the Central.
Just
Not the
makes
Central.
sense. I mean, it just makes sense. Like I really feel like again, just stability, absent major injuries. You probably pencil this team in for at least 10 wins. So I mean,
Yeah, and I mean, like everyone wants to talk about obviously the Lions with how good they've been, and then the Bears and Vikings have the quarterback, so it's like easy to talk about. Oh,
mm-hmm.
Williams and McCarthy, like how are they going to do? And then the Packers are just kind of sitting back
there.
here, and all of a sudden they're 10-4, and
Yeah,
like in the driver's seat. But
yeah, that sounds right to me.
So let's go back through Cowboys, no opinion. Eagles 11.5, same thing. Commanders 9.5. I don't know. Giants 5.5. I don't know. Like that's pretty. That can be a low number. I don't know. Like, can they win 6 games after having a?
Couldn't last year.
I mean, like last year was brutal. Like, are they just going to have 2 absolutely brutal years in a row?
I feel like the way they answer the quarterback
but
question, possibly. I mean, that quarterback room stinks.
yeah,
Stinks. I mean, I'm happy to have Jackson Dart come out and prove me wrong. That would be fun. But it
the
stinks.
resurgence of Russell.
God bless him if he achieves it.
All right, so yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the Giants can get to 6, and maybe I shouldn't say that because I went there last year and it didn't work out for me. But
maybe we'll get surprised and they'll rattle off 5 wins in a row to start the season.
Yeah, the Vikings 8.5, Bears 8.5, Lions 10.5, Packers 9.5. Competitive North. Those got to be the closest, like from 10.5 down to 8.5 for 4 teams. Like it's very close. Everyone thinks that each team kind of has a chance to be good. We'll see. They got to play each other twice. All right. I don't know. I think that's all I have to say about these 2 divisions. We'll finish out the NFC with the West and the South next week. Then we'll go over to the AFC after that. Oh my kids!
Go Bears.